This video was intended to be my showcasing my new PC that anyone who watches my streams would know I was pulling the trigger on before the weekend, and I was going to get it. It would arrive this week. It didn't happen because I refused to pull the trigger after doing more and more research and more head scratching and thinking about everything. I'd spec'd out all the components that I wanted, and the price came to $3.5 grand. I couldn't decide between the 5080 and the 5070 Ti, but I eventually did settle for the 5070 Ti, and that brought the price down a little bit. And I thought, well, you know, I like 1080p, so at least I'd be able to run games in 1080p with everything on, full blasting away, and no problems at all, no worries at all. A 5080, if you're going to run games in 1080p, what's the bloody point? You know, why get a 5080 when a 5070 can do it? A 5070 would do 1440p, which is also what I like to play games in. I always record in 1080p because that's what I render in, and that's what I upload in, so it makes sense. 1440p is what I'll play in when I'm, you know, not recording, when I'm just, you know, playing for pleasure. And I can do that on a 5070 Ti, so that's what I kind of settled on. And then I thought, but do I need this for my job, you know, to review games for a living? Do I need to have a PC of such power for that? Would my 2080 still run games at what I class as my benchmark, which is 60 frames a second, 1080p on high to a little bit higher settings? That's what I set each game as. And I looked at the schedule of releases for 2026. Nothing. Literally hardly any AAA games are coming out this year. It's going to be another lousy year for AAA games. You've got a handful of them at best, and none of them look great. I mean, yeah, you've got Elder Scrolls 6, GTA 6, and none of them are guaranteed to be this year. And I just thought, it's not worth it. I thought, what's the bloody point? What's the point? There's nothing. If there was like 12 or 13 or 14 big AAA games releasing this year, I'd have pulled the trigger without hesitation. I wouldn't have even blinked. I'd have said, yeah, new PC, because we're getting all these amazing looking games. But there's not. There's a handful of games that don't even look great coming out. So why should I? What would be there's no point. And the other thing I thought was, are my reviews helpful by displaying the graphical settings at the beginning of the game, explaining the hardware I've got and how it runs? Would that be more beneficial if I had a top of the range PC? No, it would be worse. It would be a waste of time for my viewers, because if I had a 5080 PC and I turn around to you and I say, do you know what? This game runs brilliant. What help is that to the guy who has a 3080? It's no help whatsoever. He's sitting there, well, of course it's going to fucking work, Mac. You've got a top of the range PC. What about me? I don't. I've got a mid-range. Will it work on a mid-range PC? And they would never know. You cannot work backwards and know that your game will work. You can only work upwards. So if the game runs on my 2080 and I say, yeah, in 1080p, you'll get 60 frames a second on a 2080, that helps the guys who have 3080s, because they, well, if I'm going to get that on a 2080, I've got a better card and a better rig than his, so I'm going to get a better performance. See, you can only go up and work it upwards. So it is way more beneficial to my viewers if I have a PC the same level as theirs or slightly below. It's of no benefit at all to have a top-of-the-range PC. And I can't get my head around why people say, Mac, as a reviewer, you're ridiculous as a reviewer. You should have a top-end PC. No, that's totally illogical. I shouldn't have a top-end PC because I'm of no help to anybody apart from the people with top-end PCs. And let's be honest, they should be able to run everything. And can I just say, of course you can, Mac, it's not all about your PC hardware. It's so much to do with software as well. My PC, right, is a rock. It hardly ever crashes. I think maybe last year 2 crashes. I can remember one was in a stream. I had loads of stuff running, as you do when you're streaming, and it crashed in there. And I had another crash in a game that had an issue. And that was it in the whole year. 2 crashes. And I play more games than most people, you know. I play a shit ton of games. So my PC gets hammered all the time. So why is it so stable? Why is it able to run AAA games? My game runs games better than some top-end PCs. Panzer Elite, for example, loads of people with 4080s struggling with that game. A lot of it's to do with your software. When you're installing Windows, if you're formatting your PC or buying a new PC, when you reinstall Windows, you have to know what you're doing. One does not simply install Windows. You have to make sure you don't install all the shit all the garbage bloatware that comes with Windows, because all of them, they're running in the background. They're sapping your resources. They're filling your fucking memory up. And so when you come to run a game, there's hardly any of your PC left to run it. And that's why you get shitty performance. In other words, do you know what? Some of you will remember this. We had a program called End It All. It was called End It All. You booted your PC up and let everything load in. Then you would install the program. And then when you ran the program, you looked at all of your background tasks. And if you didn't understand what they were, and there's a lot, so you know, I didn't understand what they were. I had to research what every background task. I wanted to know what everything did. And I found out all the ones that had nothing to do with gaming. And I added them all to End It All. And then when you wanted a gaming session, you would press the End It All button and it would shut down all of them. And your PC ran way better. You could visibly see a massive difference in your PC when you were running a game. That's what bloatware does to your PC. And antiviruses as well. I mean, I remember buying Norton because I was a dick. And I don't know what Norton's like now. It's probably great now. But back when I had it, it was garbage. It was a massive drain on your resources. And when you were gaming, it was awful. And I got rid of Norton and I got a new antivirus and it was so much better. And all these things, you know, you have to know about when you're a gamer. It's not all about the hardware, it's about your software as well. And also as well, as I mentioned in my Panzer Elite video, I want to bring this up because on the forums of Panzer Elite, there's loads of people with twice as fast machines as me saying, oh, it just stutters everything, everything's a stutter, it runs like garbage. And as soon as I started playing Panzer Elite, it was just frame drops every 5 or 6 seconds, bad frame drops. But then it would run okay a bit, and then it would bad frame drops. And I knew instinctively that what it was doing was it was trying to cache in all of the assets that's in the frame. So, for example, if I come across a house at a farm, a combine harvester in a field that I hadn't seen before, I'd get frame drops because it's loading them into the memory. So what I did was I just thought, right, sort this. I just drove all over the place like a bell end. Just started getting shot at. I got killed a few times. But all I was doing is I was just loading all of the assets into my memory. And then after I'd done that, the game ran perfect. Butterly smooth. No more frame drops. Maybe it's the odd frame drop as I came across something new. But I had all the assets loaded into me. And people don't do that. They'll just, I can't play this. It's unplayable. Uninstall. Blah. Refund. You know, and there's a lot of stuff that you can do with your PC before you need to start panicking and upgrade it. And I'm looking at what I do, what games I play, what's coming, and guys, I just don't see a reason to upgrade it. Now, Cass has a different story. She's got a 1070. It's very, very old now. So she's getting a new PC, and hers will be way faster than mine. And if I do come across a game that I can't play, I'll just dive on her PC. But I don't see any reason at all why I should have a new PC. So I'm probably, I haven't decided that I'm not yet, but I'm probably 70% in favour of not having a new PC, 30% in favour of having one. That's where I'm at the minute. But there's a lot of life left in the old dog yet. My PC is solid. It's absolutely solid. I mean, people might laugh at it. They do, you know. But hey, don't let anybody pressure you into buying a new PC. Don't, because I don't think it's worth it at this moment in time. I'll keep you updated, guys, and if I do upgrade, I'll introduce you to the new beast, and we'll see how it goes.